Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Yellowstone's most exciting new spin-off is the one with the smallest connection to the main show. The flagship Yellowstone series may be over, but there are a slew of spin-offs on the way, and the one that is most exciting is the one least closely tied to the original series. Yellowstone ended rather abruptly after star Kevin Costner departed the show to pursue his passion project, The Horizon, an American saga movie series. However, the appetite for more stories from the Yellowstone universe has never been higher, especially with so many plot lines from the original series ending on unsatisfying notes. Creator Taylor Sheridan struck gold with both of the prequel series that spun off from the original Yellowstone. 1883 chronicled the arduous journey that the very first Duttons made to settle in Montana, while the ongoing 1923 tells the story of the post-World War I Duttons fighting to keep their hold on the precious land. Now that Yellowstone is over, many of the spin-offs will operate as sequel series, picking up where some of the show's main characters left off or featuring a new set of characters from the Yellowstone universe. One spin-off series in particular is more exciting than the others. One of the upcoming spin-offs will follow along the path laid out by 1883 and 1923, and follow a previous generation of Duttons that lived on the Yellowstone Ranch prior to the birth of Yellowstone's patriarch, John Dutton. The title of the show is of particular interest. While there are very few plot details available, it can be assumed that, given the temporal setting, it will chronicle the Dutton family's involvement in World War II. Depending on the amount of time covered by the show, 1944 may even lead up to the birth of John Dutton. The date of the show is interesting in the opposite direction as well. It's set just 21 years after the events of 1923, so some of the younger Duttons in that series could appear as older versions of themselves. Brandon Sklinar's Spencer Dutton, his wife Alex, Julia Schlapfer, and their family are on track to take over the Dutton Ranch when 1923 comes to an end, so 1944 could see them leading the family in a similar role to Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren's Jacob and Cara Dutton. The cast possibilities along with the notable plot timing make it the most exciting of the upcoming spin-offs. Despite being a prequel directly about the Dutton family, 1944 also has the least significant connection to the main series. As of now, every other upcoming Yellowstone spin-off will connect directly to the timeline and cast of the flagship show. 6666 is currently on hold, but will follow Jefferson White's Jimmy Herdstrom on the Four Sixes Ranch in Texas, while The Madison, which will star Michelle Pfeiffer, will chronicle the arrival of a New York City family that lives in the Madison River Valley of Montana, theoretically one of the Yellowstone's neighbors. A currently untitled spin-off series starring Beth and Rip is also in development. It will presumably follow them as they deal with their new ranch, and will almost certainly feature characters from the original show. It is set to act as a de facto sixth season of Yellowstone, in lieu of the once-planned sequel series 2024. With no characters present from the original show, 1944 will be the least connected show to the original. For as good as the original neo-Western drama was, the two prequel series have actually been some of the best-reviewed seasons of the show, and for good reason. The shorter series lengths have led to exceptionally well-paced, action-packed stories, anchored by some of the franchise's most impressive and emotional performances. 1883 in particular showed off some of the filmmaking craftsmanship of Taylor Sheridan and his team, as it looked and felt like a real Old West journey that the Duttons were on. 1944 being set in a similarly distinct time period should yield something similar. Without the need to drag out for 6 or 7 seasons, as Yellowstone was originally planned for, the show can focus on an airtight, self-contained season of television, with the potential for 2 seasons if it follows the track that 1923 is currently on. No matter how it ends up developing, 1944 is the most exciting of the upcoming Yellowstone prequels, despite having virtually no connections to the original show despite the Dutton family line. When Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone first galloped onto screens in 2018, it quickly became one of television's most dominant forces. With its gripping blend of Western drama, power struggles, and stunning Montana landscapes, the series turned into a cultural phenomenon, spawning multiple spin-offs that expanded the Yellowstone universe. But while 1883 and 1923 have stayed deeply rooted in the Dutton family legacy, the latest spin-off in Sheridan's ever-expanding franchise is doing something entirely different, and that's exactly what makes it the most exciting project yet. A departure from the Duttons. For years, Yellowstone spin-offs have focused on the rich history of the Dutton family, tracing their struggles across generations. 1883 took viewers back to the perilous Oregon Trail journey of the family's ancestors, while 1923 chronicled the hardships faced by the next generation amid economic downturns and societal upheavals. Both shows were gripping in their own right, but they functioned primarily as prequels, filling in the gaps of the Dutton lineage rather than striking out into new territory. Enter the newest Yellowstone spin-off, one that is shaking up the formula by barely acknowledging the Duttons at all. Instead of another chapter in the family's saga, this series takes place on the fringes of the Yellowstone world, offering a fresh perspective and a much-needed shift in focus. The spin-off's unique premise. Rather than being set on the Dutton Ranch or chronicling another piece of family history, this spin-off, rumored to be titled Lawmen of the West, dives into the untamed frontier from a lawman's point of view. Set in the late 19th century, the series follows a group of U.S. Marshals who patrol the rugged Western territories, bringing justice to lawless lands. The Duttons may only get a passing mention, but that's precisely what makes the show intriguing. This pivot to a different kind of Western storytelling allows Sheridan to explore the broader scope of the world he has built. Instead of focusing on cattle barons and land disputes, Lawmen of the West will showcase the perils of frontier justice, shifting the lens to those who fought to bring order to the wilderness. It's a bold move that broadens the Yellowstone universe without being tethered to the Dutton name. What makes this spin-off stand out? One of the biggest criticisms of recent Yellowstone spin-offs is their predictability. While 1883 and 1923 were both beautifully crafted and well-acted, they followed a familiar blueprint: tough, resilient Duttons navigating impossible odds. Lawmen of the West, however, introduces an entirely new slate of characters, unbound by the weight of legacy storytelling. This means fresh conflicts, new alliances, and a different kind of Western hero. The spin-off is expected to feature historical figures, real-life lawmen who shaped the West, alongside fictionalized characters inspired by the era. This opens up limitless storytelling possibilities, from outlaw chases to courtroom drama to the political maneuvering required to maintain law and order in a chaotic land. A more expansive view of the frontier. One of the most exciting aspects of Lawmen of the West is how it expands the scope of the Yellowstone universe beyond the Dutton Ranch. While the original series has always painted Montana as the heart of the story, this new spin-off could take audiences across multiple territories, from the bustling boomtowns of the late 1800s to the remote, lawless stretches of desert and prairie. This broader setting allows for a more nuanced exploration of Western history. While Yellowstone often focuses on the modern-day struggles over land and power, this spin-off can dive into the themes of justice, lawlessness, and the brutal realities of frontier life. It's an opportunity to show a different side of the West, one where survival wasn't just about owning land, but about ensuring that civilization could thrive in the wilderness. A Taylor Sheridan Western with a twist. Of course, Lawmen of the West still bears Taylor Sheridan's signature storytelling style, gritty, realistic, and deeply immersive. If anything, this spinoff offers him a chance to flex his historical storytelling muscles even more than before. Given his ability to craft compelling characters, it's easy to imagine a cast of complex, morally ambiguous lawmen grappling with questions of justice, power, and duty. Sheridan has already proven that he can make a riveting Western, but with this spin-off, he has the chance to do something truly unique. Craft a story that exists within the Yellowstone world, but isn't of the Yellowstone world. It's a subtle but significant distinction, and one that makes this project far more than just another prequel or side story.